See who's on
All right.
tonight.
Hello,
Anybody gonna be
everybody.
on
It's
tonight? What's
another
up?
episode of Comics Della Morte, episode 15. It's alive! It's alive!
Hello. What's up, y'all?
So, we are reviewing the book Frankenstein It's Alive, created by,
Yeah.
written by Steve Niles and illustrations by Bernie Wrightson. So, before we get into the artwork and the writing, what did you think of the book? Just
I
starting
think
off.
that this book is A1 stellar.
Mhm.
It's so last week I was like, this is a book that's not for everybody, but I do understand how a lot of people will enjoy it. I feel the same way about this book, but this time I'm in the lot of people that would enjoy it.
Yeah, most
This
definitely.
is a very, very, very solid read. It's so much dialogue, it reads like a
Mhm.
book. But don't forget, this artwork is like
Stellar.
upper level to the tippy top. Like this is
Mhm.
as good as you'll see in a comic. So
Yeah.
it's like, I don't know, man. It's so fun to find these books that you've never heard of,
Mhm.
and they're like really close to perfect books.
Yeah.
And it just never would have crossed my radar.
Mhm.
But I'm so glad that it did.
And for anyone new out there watching, we just started off. We have some of our typical people in it. My brother
Yep.
Rick and our childhood friend Mike, and I'm Ronnie Gunter, Crimson Owl Comics, and my co-host Jason Alexander. For anyone who hops on here later on that don't know us, thank you for joining us. And yeah, just for Bernie Wrightson, like I was telling Jason, he has done horror for a while. I mean, and he's not alive anymore. Sad. He died a while back, I believe in 2017. And he actually worked with Stephen King creating some creep show comics. So yeah, just really, really have a history in horror comics and you know, true inspiration for people
Yep.
like me and Jason. Just
Absolutely.
just with his
Like,
writing and artwork.
you look at books like this and you realize, like, yeah, like both can be good.
Mhm.
Like both can be great. And you don't see it all the time. You
Yeah.
just don't, and it's
Mhm.
fine that you don't see it all the time. But like this is like very, very awesome
Mhm.
artwork. Like it's very easy to get lost on the page, and then you go back and read, and like this first page to me was the slowest page, but it should have been. But then after this, it's like you go in and you start to see what Frankenstein looks like in this book, and it's like this is a classic horror movie page. Is this first splash with Frankenstein on it? Do you have that one? You want me to show
The
it?
one where he's fighting his master, or where he's opening up
No,
the curtain.
yeah, where he's this opening scene after the first page where you see
Oh yeah,
Frankenstein.
yeah. I'll bring that up so people get a
Yeah,
better look.
look at
Yeah,
that.
this is just really, really good. Like,
That's a black and white ass whooping, y'all. Like you can't do that. Like look
like
at that.
that's amazing. Not just like the detail, but as an artist who loves color, but I admire anyone who like takes on black and white and is able to like, hey, we're going to try to create a lighting effect and just wow, beautiful,
Yeah,
beautiful, beautiful.
and like there was not access when this book was done to the things that a lot of artists use now. Like I would not be I would not be close to where I am if I wasn't able to work digitally so much,
Hmm.
But like this is pencils and inks on paper done to perfection.
Yeah.
Each section of this picture is wonderful in its own right. Like,
Mhm.
how do you get this? How do you nail this many profiles?
Yeah.
And they all stand out and they all look like they're sitting in a row going away from you. And the lighting is super, super dope money. The lighting in the picture is wonderful. Everything about this page I love. Like, even look at the detail in the hand pulling the curtain back. Like, you can count veins in the back of the hand. It's
And
not even necessary.
That's the thing.
Man,
as we go on to it,
killer.
he does so great work on adding like muscle tone and everything just with black and white. So yeah, just amazing stuff. So
and just like with Mr. Geronimo, like, one extra splash of color instead of red like it was in Blood Realm, it's blue in a lot of these middle pages, and it takes that black and white to the next level.
Yeah. And now I'm gonna show another page of like the people's faces being terrified because he just captured like their basically their screams really well. That right there.
It's all the things that we talked about that Junji Ito did in Uzumaki, but done in this is not at all reminiscent of Uzumaki other than their talent with black and white. But because the styles are two totally different animals.
Yeah.
But you look at this page, like, look at every panel on this page. And every one is the best panel on the page.
Yeah.
It's so good, man. It's so good.
And then just like you were saying, the dialogue, it's just, let me see if I could get a better look at it. The collective gasp, fun times a scream or two, the energy goes scatter shot. That ain't Frankenstein. He's supposed to have a flat head. Yeah, where the heck is his bolts? And he's basically like, give him a scare, I'll give him a scare. And that's the thumbnail I pick is the next one. Look at that. I mean, that's amazing detail right there, and that's terrifying,
Yep.
Just
it goes from let me laugh at you, you're ugly, to whoa, this is actually not a freak show. This is a monster.
Yeah. And then he scares them and he's like laughs it off and everything,
Yeah.
And at this point, he's just basically talking about like his life at the circus, pretty much like being part of the freak show. And, later on, after he did the scare and everything, we just get like, let's see if I can bring it up a little. It's kind of hard to with the zoom, but pretty much this scene right here in the middle is pretty much like the rest of the freak shows. You got the world's largest woman, you got like a frog boy and a turtle girl. Just really great to see him fit in with other people that he considers family, even though they don't know that he's really the Frankenstein's monster and not some, person that was born with some deformity.
Yep, exactly. We've talked, and I've talked a lot about the art in these first few pages, but don't get it mistaken. This is a wonderfully written book, like not even good enough. Like this is a very, 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 very good book. Like
pencils and ink.
As soon as you start to see Frankenstein and they start to use Frankenstein begins to talk, you are immediately like invested in him. Like you're drawn to him because he's a monster, but he doesn't look like, just like these people were saying, he doesn't look like what you think Frankenstein looks like.
Yeah.
But then it's like he inside of this is a sad man. You know, who just he's tired.
Yeah. And then after this point, we have a flashback. And this flashback, he's basically going through like these mountains. And at this point, we could tell he's like having a conversation with someone, but just the detail and like the snow and the mountains, that right there, amazing detail. And like the wrinkling of the cape, the snow, just the texture of like the different like rock formations because of the snow, just beautiful, beautiful, beautiful.
So it's living in a cold climate, like in my body. I mean, I've been up here for almost a decade now, but I remember not knowing what cold was. I remember it. I remember the first time that it was like the chill went all the way through my body. Like I could feel it on every rib. And this page captures that. And this page does too. Like the cold and wet and howling wind. Like he never put a wind sound effect in because the picture did it for him.
You could tell.
100%. Like such amazing detail. Like this is masterwork. Like it really is.
Like look at the rigid of the rocks. Like you could tell those are sharp, and he at this point he's probably like stepped on them and is probably bleeding or at something because those are sharp rocks, and he has no gear, and he probably has like no clothes, like you were saying, to keep him warm. And at this point,
nothing matters other than him getting to Frankenstein. Nothing
exactly.
matters.
And at this point, we see who he's having a conversation with. It's Dr. Frankenstein himself. You know, he's like, Frankenstein, you've come back from hell to the devil. What is it? How is it said? Frankenstein, you come back from hell to devil me in my final hour. The haunting should not have surprised me. It seemed even in death, my creator should be my tormentor. So, you know, Dr. Frankenstein is dead, and he's basically having, illusions and just freaking out because why not? This man was brought to life, and he doesn't know what he is and who you're going to blame. Your creator, you know?
Yeah, it's almost like Dr. Frankenstein is his Grim Reaper. Like, if he's going to die, it's going to be Frankenstein who gave him life that's going to be there by his side, you know, and be there at the end.
Yeah.
And it's almost a point for both of them, you know, because Dr. Frankenstein would want to bury his creation, but because all the monster has ever really wanted to do was be dead, it's like he finally gets to put it in his face that I did it. I made it. You know, it's like making it out is dying to Frankenstein.
Yeah.
You know,
I gave you life. I'm the one who's going to be able to take it.
Yep.
You know, and like the dialogue said, that even after death, I'm going to be the one who gets to haunt your dreams. Because
I will love when it's my turn to write something like this.
Yeah, like, because it's one of those things that
bananas.
You know, it's one of those things that as Dr. Frankenstein, he's pretty much his father, and you know, and instead of looking at your father as a, you know, your your caregiver, he's pretty much his destruction. So yeah, great stuff.
Yeah, it's just this, everything about this, and it was so funny because in these middle pages, like when the monster is talking to Frankenstein, I'm like, damn. I was like, was this monster Jehovah's Witness? Like, he's got, you know what I mean? Like, he's upset at the way that he was made. Yeah. And you know what I mean? Like, and he wants the doctor to know that he messed up. Like, look what you did. Like, look what I am. Like, look what I can't become. And I can't even die. And it's just, it hit home. And I'm sure it hits home to everybody in a different way, because that's what good writing does. Good writing is relatability, right? So it's like, if you can find something, and that's probably a tiny thing, but it sunk me into this story even more. A story that was written, you know, Frankenstein has existed for so much longer than I've ever been even thought of. Yeah. But it's like, now I'm invested in this classic monster because I recognize something of myself in the writing. Yeah. And that's what you like. That's where you get them, man. Like, that's where you get them.
So we're going to skip a couple pages, but at this point, Frankenstein is like up in the mountains, and he's like, you know, the only way I could pretty much die is by basically freezing to death and it being encased into ice. But he's having another flashback while he's in the mountains.
Can we hit one page real quick?
Yeah, not a problem. Go ahead.
Just before we go.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll show it. So, because I know you got yours queued up for where we're going next. But if y'all can just observe that you can see Frankenstein's reflection in this puddle of water.
Amazing.
And to me, that is awesome. That's if I drew that once, I would either never draw again or I would never stop drawing, because that's wonderful. But like the next pages are still.
He knew. But Bernie, he knew that was going to be a seller. That's why that was on the front cover of the issue.
Yep. This book, y'all.
Hey, Gary.
Nuts. Like what you were talking about, and I didn't mean to stop.
No, it's all right. It's all right.
I didn't want to miss that. I didn't want to get too far from that page, but
I totally forgot about that part. But it's good that you caught that, because that's a good.
No, it's such a good page. Like, but no, like where he's encased in ice, and how this whole book has been done in black and white. But this is the first time that you see Frankenstein in black and white, but you understand how he's under the ice, because it's that blue is back, and it's cracked, and it's Frankenstein underneath this ice, and you don't know how long he's been there. But man, I love everything about this book. And
Gary's a comic book creator just like us, and he knows Scott.
Oh, welcome, Gary. How's it going, man? Yes, this book is silly, dumb, stupid bananas. Like the artwork is better every time you look at it. Like I'll find a way to have a physical copy of this one for sure.
Oh yeah, of course.
But
just bringing up the next one I wanted to show. Just now we're going into like a city scene, and anyone who watches, I love detail of any type of landscape, and I just beautiful detail just on that. Just it's amazing, because all it is black and gray texture, but yet he has so much detail in it. And the only thing that's blue is the sky, but everything just
in
pops
that one
out.
Panel. Yeah.
And you could see it. And then like how we were talking about before in the beginning of the pages, that, you know, you could see his muscle tone, and just look at the muscles on Frankenstein's monster. It's just really great. And you could see that this man has like extreme strength, and he could probably easily tear you apart, just, you know, with no problem.
Can't you see how wet and heavy his clothes are in the rain?
Yes, exactly. You know, it just gives it more appreciation.
You look,
Man,
like, look at look at this building in the background, y'all. Like, look at this building that's right up against the blue, and look how many different levels there are, and so many of those like tops have like little alleyways. You can just tell the way that it's constructed, and this is like in the furthest, with the detail that's in the foreground with the bricks. Like, this is the most forgettable section of a page for what he's trying to accomplish, and where your focus would be with, like I said, looking at how wet and very miserable and cold, Gary. Like, you can see it, but why the detail in those buildings in the background, and the fact that in this black and white world you can see that light on the top of that building.
Yeah.
Like, it almost looks like it's a actual photo that's been painted over in Photoshop, but it's not. And then that's nuts.
And then how we were talking about how, you know, he went up to the mountains to basically die, and the thing that was haunting him while he was dying was, you know, Dr. Frankenstein. And he just goes into detail with this. Like, I remember vividly that diary November, when I opened my eyes for the first time, I have read that many baby animals imprint upon and bound with the first living thing they see, be it mother or stranger or creator. And, you know, that just goes back to when he woke up, he trusted Dr. Frankenstein as a parent. And that just makes it even more heart-wrenching that the very thing that haunts him is something that's supposed to be something that he was supposed to look for guidance to.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Just awesome.
Yeah.
No, go on.
Yeah. No, I'm good. You can keep going. Like,
no,
I'm just I'm just like, I'm at this point, like, I'm just listening, but I can't get enough of so many of these pages. Like,
yeah, I know, right? It's just the writing. It's just the writing, and like it's just the story, and the artwork is just good.
There's so much good dialogue. Like,
yeah,
there's so much good dialogue. Like, this reads like a movie.
Yeah,
like it reads like
I could definitely see it a movie.
Yeah, it reads like a super artsy movie. But it's just so heavy when you look at how Frankenstein feels and how miserable his existence really is to him, and it just won't end. And it's just like his creator is taunting him. So when he's so close to dying, his creator is taunting him, and he stays alive long enough to chase him. Like, it's just a very sad. Who is it that it's the pushes the big Sisyphus? I think it's a Greek tale. That's Frankenstein. That's this Frankenstein. He's got this heavy weight to carry. And once he gets it to the point where it should get easier, it just gets heavier. Like, just a very hard to write good sad stories. And he accomplished it, because it didn't get so sad that you didn't want to read it anymore.
Now, what I really love starting off with this page is just the
Yeah.
detail of the ice effect, just not him being under it, but just the cracks and everything. Like, wow, he took some time on that. I mean, I know I would. It's just beautiful detail right there as an artist.
It's nuts. The cracks, how the face is distorted because of the cracks.
And you could tell, and like, it's not one of those things like, okay, it's just clear. Like, you literally see the detail, like it literally looks like it has frost and ice on it. That's what's amazing about that first panel. And literally, time has passed, and we don't know exactly how long time has passed. But like he says, my original thought had been to climb atop my my funeral and pry and burn to ashes. So that was his first idea. And at this point, he's woken up from his slumber in ice. And what do you see in the distance? A volcano. And he's like, this, this is probably my answer to what I've been looking for.
Yep. He's like, if it worked for L. Ron Hubbard, it'll work for me.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
But imagine the desperation you must experience to say, okay, I'll just go jump in a volcano. Like, that's not go jump in a lake.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and it's just the next step. This is his, like he said, this is his funeral pyre. He's just going to jump in it, and that'll be the end. Because how can you know what I mean? Like, how could he survive? And if he did survive, how would he get out? Like,
yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Ooh. I'm ready for the next page.
So am I.
Yeah.
Amazing. Just with the rock structure.
I do that, man. Look at that.
Oh man, just wow. Just
look at the mountains beyond the volcano. It's like
exactly. Like, look at the rocks. Like, he put detail in those rocks. I'm not going to make a bunch of squiggly lines. No, I'm going to make actual rock structure and make texture. And just really good.
First time that I've ever said, this is the picture I would have on the side of my van. This is it. Like, I don't want the Millennium Falcon anymore. This is what I would want on that back quarter panel of my van. Is just this picture.
I mean, it's a great picture. Beautiful scenery.
So dope. Like, it really, really is. Like, look at the shading though. Like, coming away from that volcano.
Yeah.
And
the dialogue here. So, my creator, have you come to taunt me one final time? Are you my angel in my angel's flight, come to guide your greatest achievement and greatest mistake to his rest? No, I come only to say goodbye.
It's written like modern Shakespeare, when the characters actually talk to each other through the whole book. And again, here's the thing, guys. Like, I want you to go get this book. I don't want to read this book to you. I want you to go get this book. And so what we're talking about as far as the art goes is as good as what we're talking about, but the writing is that's what gets you here. Like, the writing is like this. The writing is the secret.
Yeah.
Because
like, we have a link to the book, buy the book,
Comixology. Just go do it.
Or even on Comixology.
Yeah.
You could get the book for free because it's unlimited. Just get it and read it, because it is a great story, not just the artwork. It's
right, and it's a read because it's got a lot of words. Like, it is. it's got a lot of words, but they all matter and they're all good. So
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
give this book a look, because it's that kind of book. Like there's not a lot of these books.
Yeah.
Because it's not really, I mean, it's a very different type of comic book. Like it's back to horror. And it's so funny because there's no blood and gore and guts. But we're back, man. Like we're back to the horror now. Like this is a horror story. It really, really is.
Of course. I mean, it's a horror story that you were pretty much created for no purpose, but to basically for one man's purpose to gain, like, if I could truly do this. And once he did, it's like, you know, what am I? I'm not, you know, human. I'm not dead. I'm
right.
You know,
earlier in the book he says, or I think it's earlier, where he says that he doesn't even know if he can go to hell because he doesn't have a soul.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's such a heavy line. Like, so yeah, I think that's towards the end. But it's so much. There's so many lines in this book like that give it a read, y'all. Like the artwork is fantastic. Like it's wonderful. Look at the clouds coming off the volcano, Ronnie.
Yeah.
Can you do that?
I'll try.
I'm gonna try too, but
I mean,
like that's gonna take some doing.
I mean, we're both writers and we're both artists, but yeah.
That is, and I'm not saying that we suck, but this is like some of the most wonderful clouds or smoke that you'll ever see drawn. Period.
Exactly. But
like, look at the little shrapnel coming out of the volcano.
Exactly. And look at that bottom corner of Frankenstein's face. Like that point, he's literally probably irritated now at like the illusion of his master.
Right.
You know. But
he wants to have his last moments.
Exactly.
Yes, you are right, Gary. The fur on his vest is...
Oh, yeah, the fur on his vest. I have not... Good pointing that out, because, yeah, the fur on his vest is amazing. Just great detail. Because, you know, he had to keep warm, and at this point, he was in the mountains, and, yeah, he had to keep his body warm. So, yeah, just beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I can't say it enough.
Imagine not wanting to be alive, but being so cold that you have to keep warm to go boil yourself like a lobster.
Yeah, exactly.
Yikes, man. This is a tough... This guy is the blues right here. Like Elton John did not know what the blues were. Like,
and he's
this
like,
is the blues.
And he's like, goodbye. Then you abandoned me in the life you gave me. You leave me alone to meet my death. You know, I intend that you be perfect to be human, but I was not as you intended. Instead, a hideous mockery of all that is human. Whose fault is this, my creator? It is mine for building a monster, for failing to take responsibility. At last you admit, and yours for failing to follow your better nature, my better. So yeah, just, you know, great dialogue there, you know.
So we all like these kind of stories. Right, exactly. I'm not even an average artist, and I would have scribbled the doo-doo out of that vest, like, and been happy with it at the end. But there's so many different cool things about a story like this.
Yeah.
Because, you know, we all like classic monsters, and there's always an idea to do your own take on the classic monsters.
Of course.
And they're
because,
all good. Like True Blood is a vampire story. That comes from Dracula, and it's good. You know, but it's not like Dracula.
No.
This book is a really good Frankenstein story.
Yeah.
But it complements the original Frankenstein story. It's not a different universe. It's not a what if story. Like, this to me is a logical part of that Frankenstein monster story.
Yeah, it's a follow-up story.
Yeah,
most definitely.
100%. Yeah, so good.
Mm-hmm. And on to the next page. At this point, he's getting ready to meet his fiery demise. And just look at that bottom panel. Just, wow. Just in like having his arms folded and seeing like the lava getting ready to embrace him. Just, oh, beautiful.
It's the coolest. It's the second. No, okay. This is the equivalent of when Gollum falls in the lava on Lord of the Rings. Only this is like drawn, and that was, you know, CGI, but it's live action. But it's equally, it conveys it the same way to me. Like it feels the same, and that's definitely not a compliment. I mean, not a negative. That's a compliment, because like every part of this page, like where you can see this lava rolling off this hill on the first panel, and you see him preparing for the lava to hit him.
And the dialogue, just going back to it. You murdered my brother, my best friend, and my wife. Yes, and I would have killed you if I could. You did, in the end, you did. But look, the mountain explodes. Your doom is nigh. I will see you in hell, Victor. As the hot mud hit my body, I felt nothing, though I could sense the great heat. Perhaps, but you need a soul to go to hell.
Always the last word, like even in death.
Like, damn you, Victor.
Yeah, Victor still gets the last word.
But just that line there, you know, or that saying, as the hot mud hit my body, I felt nothing, though I could sense the great heat. I guarantee it that even he had that fur on his body, he could not sense the cold, but he knew he had to have it because of his body. So, you know,
he had to keep his body together until he could get to where he was going.
Mm-hmm. But man, just, I'm glad I found this.
This is a solid book. This is a really, really solid book. Like, and it will be now a book that I always go back to, like I go back to so many other books. Like, just when I want to look at a comic book that inspires me, you know, it makes me remember why I want to try this stuff and why I want my
and this is just the first issue. We have like 3 more to do.
Right. You know? And why you want your writing to get better, because everything on every page has a purpose, and there's no Easter eggs, so to speak. It's just landscape and terrain and some cityscapes, and everything done to its maximum optimum brightness. It's like having the TV manufacturer come in and set all your like HD settings and all your colors to like the exact right color for your eyes and your light in your room. And it's just it's a 10 out of 10. I'm just gonna say it. It's a 10 out of 10 for a book.
I agree.
Do something about it. Yeah, I compliment a lot of books. I don't do a lot of 10 out of 10s. I'm doing a 10 out of 10 this time. And
it's just the first issue. It's
nobody
the first
can beat me because I'm on YouTube. So it's like we can't fight.
Yeah.
So
it's a 10 out of it's a 10 out of 10 for me too.
Yep.
And yeah, just amazing page to end it on for this. Just you finally see how like the hot mud has burnt over Frankenstein, and you see in the background of like this illusion of Dr. Frankenstein, and you just see like the texture of the hot mud and like the heat coming off of it. Just great detail there. Just
it looks like this page looks like a 90s alternative CD cover.
Yeah, right.
But it's so good. It's so good. Like everything on it makes sense. And it's like, is Frankenstein alive? Is he dead? Like he's still conscious of something.
Yeah. And the dialogue here, I strained to push away my creator's voice and hoped there should be my final thoughts, and the last I ever hear the voice of Frankenstein. To be continued.
Yeah. So what happens next? Because he's melted.
Yeah. You know,
in theory, but like, what happens next?
Yeah. Is he dead? Is he dead, or did he just get a manicure with the hot mud?
He was dead before. So like, what is he now? He's like, well, it's like, it was Frankenstein alive. Like, is it Frankenstein dead now? Like, what happens next? It's pretty cool. Like, I like being back to horror. I like being back to just true blue horror. Like, I love the artwork and I love the story for what it is in Blood Realm. Mm-hmm. But like, this is my optimal. This is my premium gasoline.
Yeah.
Like, this is like the gas that's 30 cents more expensive than everything else at the gas station. And that's like, you don't always get it, but when you do, you like, oh, I might squirrel away a couple pennies and always put this in my car.
It's like I shouldn't eat that triple cheeseburger, but I'm gonna eat it anyway.
You know it's gonna be good. Yeah, you know it's gonna be good. You never regret the taste of a cheeseburger. Right? You might regret how it feels later, but you never regret the taste of a cheeseburger.
Yeah. But yeah,
the cheeseburger for sure.
So for me, out of writing and artwork, you know, I give it 4 out of 4 of bone-chilling horror.
Yes, definitely. I'm going to give it the maximum horror, and it's for the reason of, yes, he's a monster, but his experience is the true scariness. That's why I think that Frankenstein is a Jehovah's Witness. Welcome to my TED Talk. Oh man, no. 4 out of 4, really good horror. It's the kind of horror that I want to strive to write, because it's the horror that it's relatability, and relatability will get you 100% of the time. You can write the coolest story, you can have the flashiest artwork, but if you can connect it to somebody's soul, then you have a good product. And this is 100% connected to my soul. I love this book. I love the art. I love the writing. And I love when you can take a physical horror story and make it a psychological horror story. And it's 100% dead on. Hits every mark that I like. If you had my head as a rating system, you could fill up the bottom part of the screen with like Jason heads. 10 out of 10, however many you'll fit. Maybe 4, because I got a big head. So great book. I love it.
That's what we got to do next for the show. I got to so I gotta try to see if I could like put animation in and have like a little skeleton skull come up and say like,
No.
5 out of 10, 8 out of 10, 10
Yeah,
out of 10.
that would
That'd
be cool.
You know.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah. But yeah. So thank you everybody, Rick, Mike, and thank you, Gary, for showing up. And that was
awesome.
Like the first time I think you came by this watch our show live. So yeah, appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks. That was awesome. Yeah. I mean, it's a good book. I'm glad y'all came in on this book because
I know Gary, and I started following Gary because Gary actually watched our episode of the Artcasters.
Oh, word, nice.
Yeah. So I was like, oh, okay. Let me check out his stuff. So yeah, he does some really great dinosaur artwork.
Awesome. I'll check that out. Awesome. Yeah. Great. So yeah, are we all done? I mean,
yeah, we're all done.
I loved it. All right. Well, find me
again, Ronnie Gunter, Crimson Isle Comics on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. You, my friend?
I'm just Fallbreaker Studios on Instagram and Facebook. Fallbreaker Open starts October 1st. Check my Instagram if you want to do it. It's pretty fun. But yeah, next week.
Go into detail about more of what that is for people that don't know.
It's a storyteller's art challenge. 31 days, 31 prompts, 31 stories. Write them, draw them out, do them as comic book pages, get an artist, get a writer, however you want to do it, throw it all together, and just do a page a day. And it is whatever you can produce, because it's trickier to produce a story than it is to draw a picture sometimes.
And if you're if you're not an artist, just get on Instagram, TV, or YouTube and have a mic and just read your story.
Yeah.
You do like a whole Vincent Price thing with like some sound effects or whatever you could do, because they're scary. It's a scary story style. That's what he's shooting for.
Make a story. Yeah. 1-page stories. If you do them on paper, it's just 1 page, in and out quick, easy to do. But yeah, that's it. Check me out. If you can message me if you have direct questions about it, but you'll see most of the info on my Instagram. So check us out. #Fallbreaker Open for the challenge starting in October. That way you can at least keep up with it if you just want to see what it's about. I'm going to do it again at some point soon too anyway. Right. But yeah, I guess we're ready to get out of here.
All right. And we'll see y'all next week on Comics Della Morte episode 16 with issue 2 of Frankenstein. It's alive. It's alive. Bye, everyone.
Hey, y'all take care.